Okay, so for the last objective for this lab, um, we are going to take the finished Markdown file that we've been working on, so lab1 workbook.rmd, and I'm going to show you how to get those changes from your local machine up to github.com, which is what you'll be using to submit your assignment to Elms. So we've saved our changes here, and if you remember, we had GitHub Desktop open. So this is what that looked like. And so there should be some new bits of information here. You'll see it says two changed files. So there's been one change I made to the gitignore file, and then this new lab1 workbook. And this green plus here indicates this is a brand new file that we've added to the repo. So there's a two-step process, or actually, sorry, there is a three-step process that we're going to engage in every time we want to take some changes we've made on our local machine and get them up to github.com. So the first is we're going to click this button that says Fetch Origin. And this is just going to ensure that any repository we're working on has the most recent copy as it exists on github.com. So I'm going to fetch origin. And there have been no changes here, but if there had been changes up on the server, github.com, we'd see a little arrow here saying we need to pull down some changes. So the first thing is we are going to commit the changes that we've made to the repo. So I'm going to write a little, what's called a commit message here. So my commit message is going to say added lab 01 workbook. And then I'm going to click this button that says commit to master. So that adds it to our packages of file, our repo, our package that we will prepare to push up to GitHub. Before I do this, I just want to show you, here's what the site looks like on github.com, right? I've got my initial commit, it was done 3 hours ago. This is when we created the repo. What you don't see is the workbook that we've since added to the repo in those folders. Okay, so now I'm going to push origin, and does a bunch of stuff. And now if I come back to this page and just refresh the page, so refresh, what you'll see is that my workbook is up here now, lab 01, and there's the file. Okay. Before I show you how to submit this on Elms, I'm just going to do one other thing to show you how GitHub Desktop works. So I'm going to come back. Here's my lab1 workbook.rmd file. And I'm just going to make one small change at the bottom, and I'd like you to do this with me. Just go ahead and write, I'm done, and save it. And now let's come back to GitHub Desktop. And you'll see here, lab1 workbook is a changed file. It's got this yellow thing next to it, meaning the content is changed. And I'm going to go ahead and, before I commit the changes, this is what's called the diff viewer. And you can see what's changed here. In this case, what we've done is we have added the word I'm done, and it's been highlighted in green. If I were to do, say, make some very small change, like go back to the file and just delete the period at the end of this sentence and do Command S to save it, come back over here. Now you can see that this line is red, it's been removed, and it's been changed with this. So the period is missing from the sentence. So this diff viewer helps you get a sense of what's changed and what hasn't changed. I'm going to put the period back in, save it, and I'm going to commit this change to master. So notice that this said it was updated 2 minutes ago on github.com. So adding I'm done to lab1, commit it to master. You can see the commit I just made. And now I'm going to push origin. So the process we're generally going to follow is fetch from the original repo, commit the change, push origin. When I come back here and refresh, you can see that this folder is updated 19 seconds ago. The commit message that I wrote explaining what I did is there. It's generally a good idea to have descriptive to Git messages in case you ever need to roll back to something earlier. So in terms of submitting then, for Elms, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go into your repo. Oops, that's the wrong repo. You're going to go into your repo, go directly to the file page. So this is the direct link to the workbook. And you're going to copy that. And in Elms, you're going to go to the link for the lab. And you'll notice the thing you need to submit is a website URL. And so what I want you to submit is that link to that URL to your GitHub repo and submit. So that's how it's going to work. Once you've gotten that link to the edited R Markdown file up on GitHub and submit it through Elms, you're finished this week's lab.